Good evening, folks. My name is Robert Scott Perry. I'm from Portsmouth, Rhode Island. I'm a write-in candidate challenging Jack Reed to represent the state of Rhode Island in the U.S. Senate. The way I see it, during this last week of campaigning, we have to stick together. So I have to sit here and talk to you about the national picture. I want to make one thing very clear. The Republican Party has done nothing for the last 6 years that I can glean from my observations of the news that has done anything but weaken our country. If we don't stick together and fight what is just like the Confederates, a movement that follows the worst kind of Nazism that I've ever heard of in my life. They hide behind the business community and they take away our rights just the way Adolf Hitler took away the rights of the German people. There's really not any difference. We have, this very day, we have executives making 300 times what their average worker makes. Now, people say, well, why not? Well, I look back to FDR. He said that if you can't pay a living wage, you do not have a right. You do not have a moral right to open a business in the society. That is the truth. If they can't pay enough for a person to survive, why should we give them a business license? This isn't the Middle Ages. This isn't the agricultural time after we got here on the Mayflower. Okay, we don't have to each one of us grow our own food or shoot our own game. We have a society. We have a system. The problem that we've run into for the last 6 years is that the Democrats turned the House of Representatives into a protest house. Instead of running the government and making things work during the worst recession that we've ever seen, in our lifetimes anyway, maybe there are a few people alive who lived through the Great Depression, but I don't think there's many. We've never had an opportunity to be so poor as we had 6 years ago. A man named Barack Obama led the country out of that recession. It never became a depression. At the same time, in the middle of that, the Republicans took control of the House. They're the ones who write the check that keeps the government running, that runs the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, that allowed Ebola to become what it's become. It only happened because we didn't have the money. We shut the whole thing down for 6 months as a protest because the Republicans didn't like the black guy, because they didn't like the health care ideas, which was a Republican idea, because they didn't like to see a black guy win, because a majority of them are white, wealthy Republicans. I get that. It doesn't make it right. In fact, it makes it very clearly wrong. I remember this thing, for some reason this comes to mind. Someone once said, you can't legislate morality. That is the only thing you can legislate, is morality. We can legislate against misogyny, the mistreatment of women. We can legislate against racial prejudice, the evil treatment of people of other races. We can legislate against pedophilia, the mistreatment of children. We can legislate morality all the time. So, there's no reason why we can't legislate that the House of Representatives should be a working body that finishes its job on time and provides money to keep the government running. And what they've done is they made it a protest site. I'm repeating myself. I mean for you to hear me. Those of us who dislike the system as it was already are going to continue to have some difficulty even with the good guys. I'm going to always argue against what the Obama administration did in many ways. But the one thing I will not argue with is that the government must continue to function for us to be safe, to live in our civilized society. A man named Thomas Piketty recently wrote an economic history of the world that goes back some centuries. Okay? In it, it became very clear that a society where the distance between the top and the bottom is too great is unstable. We have the Pentagon telling us that global warming is the greatest threat to worldwide stability. We have expert economists telling us that unequal economic terms, a society where the very rich and the very poor are spread a great distance apart, such as a CEO making 300 times what a worker makes the society unstable. So what the Democratic Party must do is to erase the Republican Party. Everything they say, if you read their platform, says that we need more global warming, destabilize the world. They don't care about global warming, and they want for rich people to get richer and poor people to get poorer. That's their plan for the United States, their domestic plan. So what the Republicans are trying to do is to bring down the government. We don't have to pull punches. We have to punch. It's time for every protest movement, every social movement that wants the world to get better, that wants the United States to become more moral, to run its engines cleaner, to take care of our children better, as in pre-K for all children. Thank you, Angel Tavares. All people of good character must do their best to make this the last year we talk about the Republican Party. I can't find one good thing that they propose. Please, for the love of God, across the country, I'm begging you, erase the Republican Party. Now let's talk about Rhode Island for one moment. Gina Raimondo would be a great governor. She will approach this with fresh eyes, fresher than we've ever had in my lifetime. No matter what has been said, and I've said much about it, the past is the past. It is her job to fix the pension crisis once and for all, as governor. It is her job to punish those involved in 38 Studios as best she can from the governorship soon. We have a woman named Nellie Gorbea, who I think will do a great job of making our elections fair and free. I believe that as certainly as I believe anything about this state. And this is a wonderful state. Seth Magaziner will be a great treasurer. Let us stay with the people we trust. If we go back to the mobsters or any Republican or any independent who we know is a Republican, okay, we have this thuggy looking guy that wants to be a treasurer. I can't even recall his name. He looks like a football player. I mean, for goodness sakes, he's helped the theft of money from the landfill. That's old mobster right-wing bullshit. I don't care if it's Democratic or not. They stole all that money at URI by building a building they never used. That's 1% bullshit. No matter how you look at it, you can call a Republican or Democrat. That's not who we want. We've got somebody fresh. Seth Magaziner will do a wonderful job. We need fresh eyes on all of this. And as much as I'd like to replace the entire General Assembly, it's up to us to insist that they investigate 38 Studios completely. And we'll be here and we'll do it. But nationally, I'm begging my comrades in other states, please, free yourselves of the Republican Party. They will do nothing but bring you down. Rhode Island, we're going to protect ourselves. But down south, you're all headed for the Hunger Games. Your children are headed for the woods. Your lifestyles will go downhill. Free yourselves of the Republicans. They want nothing but to enslave the poor and uplift the rich. They will make you all serfs and servants. Up here, up north, we'll take care of it. We've got a guy to get rid of, LePage. Hopefully Scott Brown will go running home to mother, where he belongs. And for goodness sakes, Martha Coakley is a very smart woman. Don't be fooled by this Charlie Baker. He's nothing but another teabagger. Ask him his opinions. Don't just assume things. Ask him, and he will tell you that he's happy that our country has been held back. That he's happy that the teabaggers have weakened our country by shutting down the government. Charlie Baker is nothing but another teabagger Republican. To say is definitely a teabagger who doesn't care about the veterans and doesn't care about Social Security. Both Charlie Baker and to say will privatize Social Security and destroy Medicare. Take my word for it, Massachusetts. Free yourselves of these people once and for all. We'll find another party. Let's do it, guys. 2014. All the way.